Hello and welcome again to another drawn out series from the Crowd Training. I'm Neil Rowland, and this one we're going to work on what is new in the new PMP exam for 2020. So one of the areas, what we call domains now, is people. And so you are going to be having to work with people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So with that, as a project manager, you need to know that dealing with people can be very easy or can be extraordinarily hard and every place in between. So you need to know what is being asked of you as a project manager and everyone else. So there is a spectrum that you're going to have to work within, and all the tasks as a project manager you need to be aware of. So there's 14 tasks in the new arrangement of the Project Management Professional Exam Content Outline, or ECO. So that's what the entire exam is going to be based upon, and that's what we are going to base these lessons also on so that you can be prepared. So let's, in this lesson, focus on 8 of them that are more of the management end of the spectrum. They are going to be broken up, in my view, of 8 management ones, and then there will be 6 that are more of what I like to deem as leadership. So we will go into one of these lessons will draw out all 6 leadership, and 8 here will be more of the management type domain tasks in the people domain. All right, the first one is to ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. Well, you are going to have to work as a team, and you also, especially if you're using agile methodologies, you're going to have a product owner, and you may also be the Scrum Master or have to work with a Scrum Master, and there are various different team members that are all working together. And knowing the best ways to interact with each other, the procedures, the ceremonies, what events are scheduled, how they're going to be conducted. Maybe you have certain kind of boards that are used, like a Kanban board or different information radiators, burn down charts, all kinds of different things, maybe even a technology that is being used. And so you need to make sure that everyone involved understands what is supposed to be done, why it's supposed to be done a certain way. And so you need to make sure that the training, whether by you, by a outside team, or even just the day-to-day conversations and the guidance that you provide are in fact being done. The second one is to build a team. So you are part of a greater program, and you are not leading them, you are actually working for them, but together, the team is going to be the resources that are going to be pulled together. Maybe they're pulled in from a procurement, and that resource is part of an agreement or contract, or maybe they're all internal within your own organization. Either way, or any way that you get these employees or these resources to come together, you need to find the skill sets. And ideally, in an agile situation, you're trying to find skills that are generalists, that they can work on many different things. But in traditional projects, if I'm building a building and I'm going to need painters that are in fact good at painting, and so the skill sets then of course will need to be reflective of who I build a team around. Also, there are going to be things that get in the way of our employees or our team to be able to conduct the work that they need to do. So your task, or one of your tasks as a project manager, is to in fact remove the barriers that allow the team to in fact do the work that they need to do. And so that could be obstacles, it could be blockers, it could just be even things that are impeding them and making their work a little harder. And so you are trying to make sure that all of these are removed and making it so that the path from where they are to where they want to be is in fact as smooth and unblocked as possible. Another one is to negotiate project agreements. So these negotiations are not going to be, like you see in the movies where everyone's yelling at each other and they're trying to work out things, although it could be in that situation. But a lot of times these agreements are going to even be the little things like meeting deadlines. If this is a project team member and there's a certain amount of tasks that they have to do within these, say, 14-day sprint or 10-day sprint, if we're working in an agile way, I need to make sure that whatever they're committing into our sprint backlog is in fact something that we can agree to. And the product owner is also in agreement as to what this backlog is and what is successful or committing to that can be successful, what is the acceptance criteria for it, but getting all these agreements so that when we go to our sprint review, we can in fact check everything off because everything was in fact done and agreed upon, and we've handled all of the challenges involved straight up front and throughout, and we have an agreement of what needs to be done, why it needs to be done. And of course, this also regards greater things like procuring items and the overall objectives of a project. Also, we know that communication is so incredibly important to a project manager. That is probably 80 to 90% of your job, and you know what is happening, or you should be able to communicate that to others. That means in your own team, in your own, that includes with your team, that it also includes just the collaboration that happens between you, but also encouraging the communication and collaboration with all the team members, as well as other stakeholders who might be external to the project, if need be, or to, say, a project sponsor or product owner. That collaboration is extremely key because you want the talent and the communication and the understanding the various resources, because you're limited on resources. So the more collaboration you have, the better. Also with that communication comes the need to build shared understanding. That if this is what we're planning to do, this is, say, our sprint backlog, then we're all in agreement that this is what we're going to do, this is what needs to happen. But also, as things are being done, we are sharing that knowledge between others and getting that information passed on to one person to another, but also making sure that we're on the same page. We have the same understanding. We have the same concept of what needs to be done. And if there is any miscommunication, we can address it because we have a shared understanding of what needs to be done, but also the results of what has happened. We can all learn from the work as well as what came out of it. Now, in our current situation, especially with the coronavirus pandemic, but just our technology as we are evolving more and more, we're going to need to leverage and engage and support virtual teams. So this is going to be the way things work. And so making sure that all our teams, no matter where in the world that they are able to, in fact, work well together and be able to collaborate, communicate, and of course, get things done. And the last one then is to set ground rules so that we can understand if this is the way that we operate